welcome to a very special coworking podcast about what makes coworking special. And this month we're welcoming Željko Crnjaković from InspiraHub or InspiraHub.
InspiraHub, yeah,
InspiraHub, okay, from Serbia. First of all, Ko or Jack, as you wrote down, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
Pleasure is shared. We first met on LinkedIn. This huge, I don't know, it feels both huge and small at the same time. Co-working community there, and we share different kind of posts, and we comment on each other posts and so on. So it's really nice to see all those people sharing their passion about co-working on LinkedIn. And that's how we met. And I was really inspired by him. So I said, hey, why wouldn't you be in my podcast? And that's how we connected. And my first question to you, Jack, how did you get to know about co-working? How did you start in this co-working industry?
Yeah, that's a very question that spans a lot of years. And as everybody usually, co-working kind of creeps up on you unexpectedly. So it happened to me about in 2011, 12. I first heard about the concept quite totally unexpectedly, just visiting a neighboring town and going into a panel discussion where actually the co-working in Serbia was not popular, was not actually, there was only one co-working space at the time operating and a few maybe incubators and kind of design hubs and stuff like that, but not like co-working was a new concept. And as soon as I heard about it, as soon as I heard people, I'm very sad to say that the enthusiasts that were talking about it, my friends later on, never actually opened their own hub and never actually opened their own co-working, but there were some of the most enthusiastic people co-working as a concept. And it struck me immediately that this is something that I believe not only people need, but actually I need, whether it's for work or for community. And then I decided that I'm going to make it happen somehow. And, so the concept that I heard like so many years ago was based on community. And co-working in essence is all about it's in real estate. It's a real estate business. But for smaller co-working spaces like my co-working space that I run and a lot of other small co-working spaces, it's more about community. So, that's where the concept came. I founded the first co-working space in my town, the second in Serbia at that time. And later on throughout the next, this is going to be 12, 13 years now, there were a lot of other co-working spaces. There were a lot of franchises later open and, come bigger co-working names came to Serbia, but they're mostly based in larger cities. So Subotica is about the northernmost city in Serbia. It's about 100,000 to 150,000 people. And that's considered a smaller city, smaller town. And in such places, it's really more what you can really offer the community and not just go and say it's all about the number of seats. It's all about the passing of people through the space. It's about, gathering that initial community and then growing it.
Yeah, super interesting. So you started the second space in your country in a smaller city, as you said. You didn't go for the big city where usually co-working start, but you stay there because it was your home city, or what was the reason?
Yeah, so it's in my city. I needed the co-working space because, I consider there are two types of people that consider going to a co-working space.
Yeah.
The first type is like myself. You started working online or started working from home and you're living in a smaller apartment with a family, small kids, and really you don't have that kind of space that you need to do your work or for focused work. So you need a co-working space to actually separate your home life from your business life. And you need the office quiet space and the infrastructure and stuff like that. The second type of people that come to co-working spaces that I noticed is the first one is the family. They don't have the means and the space. And the second is you live alone, you work from home, and you didn't talk to anybody for 3 weeks. So, and then
Mm.
you decide to go to a co-working space because you need to be around people. Of course, there are types in between, but these are kind of
Yeah.
two most radical types.
Yeah, that's so true. So it resonated with me for the second one because I usually work from home, but even I sometimes want to get away. And even if I'm a big introvert and I love to work home, but sometimes I just want to meet other people. I have a different kind of vibe of energy and recharge a bit with other people. It might be weird for an introvert, but it's possible. At some point, you need to be around others.
Yeah. So
Mm,
basically, so what we noticed our members say, so it's like
yeah.
co-working is like you're working in a company, but you're not colleagues with anybody. So you don't have a boss. So you have all the benefits of working with people, but they don't know you. So you don't have to socialize if you don't want to, but you can if you want to. And that feeling that, if you just raise your hand and ask for, does anybody have any experience with this or that? Chances are somebody will say yes. So you get that answer that you need like really quickly, and you get that feeling of community. The final thing that why co-working is excellent. So we noticed that in Corona, when we had to stay at home and isolate ourselves, and people talked about, a drop in productivity, but the productivity is not the problem. Once you get that like accustomed to working from home, you can be productive. The question is about innovation. And innovation comes from small chit chats, exchanges of ideas, and just talking, those
Yeah.
water cooler talks where you talk about your day, I talk about my day, and you talk about your problems, and something will stick with me
Yeah.
or with you. And, in a couple of days, weeks, years, whatever, that something will click and you will remember that, and something will instigate another innovation on how you can solve your own problem. So that is why you need to be, or everybody needs to be around people.
Yeah, it's like when we said that we have the best ideas in the shower when we're not working, but we're actually doing something else because we have time to process, to digest what has happened, and then something comes up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm wondering, you say you're starting the second space in your country in your hometown. Does that mean that you never been to a co-working or at least regularly before opening your own space? You went straight to, oh, I want this, so I do it in my city and experience it like that.
So actually, I was in the first co-working space that was opened in
Oh,
in
okay.
the in the capital, in the main city. I met the
Uh-huh.
guy. I never worked
Mm-hmm.
from there because I lived in another town, but the
Mm-hmm.
concept was very interesting to me. So
Yeah.
I immediately recognized the benefits that can come from this. And starting a co-working space without any support, without any like real life examples that you can go on, I started like quote unquote textbook, a community space. You need to first talk about co-working. You need to raise people's like awareness of what it is, teach people what it is. And 12 years later, we're still teaching people what it is, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So the initial concept was like, I talk about it, a community forms, and together we open up a space. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was young and like crazy. So you need to be a little crazy to be in this business. And that didn't happen. So like I quickly realized I need to invest my own time and resources, and maybe people will come. And then I opened and nobody came. Like, like imagined on
Mm-hmm.
paper, like I need like 6 people to break even. Like, I know that's like quite small, but like the prices were not that. I was just only trying to cover the cost of rental and electricity and internet. And I
Yes.
didn't get 6 people, I got 3 people, and I stayed open for about 8 months. And then I said I'm going to close, but I still need a place to work. So I said to my 3 people, I'm going to go to and rent an apartment. So should I look for an apartment myself, or do you want to come with me? He said, we're going to come with you. Okay, so we rented an apartment. And
Yes.
we formed a small co-working of 3 people. And within 9 months in that apartment, we had 8 people. Immediately, like, everybody was like,
Yeah.
can I come work with you? You're like, yeah, why not? So we're gonna split the cost and stuff like that. So, and from that moment on, then from that apartment, we went to a business space and then grew to about like 15 people or something like that. But even that was with private investment. Like you need to be entirely full to be like breaking even. And there were months when I, as a operator of the co-working space, was like paying my co-working membership of like 300 euros and everybody was paying 70 euros. But, I needed that to just keep it alive. And as things evolved, I was thinking of closing, but then I made a partnership with an IT company, one of the most known companies in my town
Hmm.
and in Serbia, Inspira Group, at the time, and invested in opening up a space. And
Hmm.
I was the manager of that space. And from 2017, we first had InfoSud Hub, which is now called with the rebrand InspiraHub because we're a part of the Inspira Group. And
Yes.
from that moment on, it's just going to, you know, we're just going to have more and more members. But we had the opportunity and the fortune to have the infrastructure and the funds because of our, like founding company that invested in us to actually equip the space, like design the space and run when we didn't have enough members.
Yeah, super interesting how it evolved, especially interesting the first part when you say that. So you had 3 people and then you needed 8, but you didn't get 8. So you closed that space and you got a flat. And that flat, you went from 8 to from 3 to 8. So you're or 9. So you use numbers you wanted to have before. What changed between those two spaces?
I think that people evolved. I mean, the idea
Hmm.
evolved, not the people. And the
Yes.
people started recognizing that they can need this, they can
Okay.
benefit from this. And,
Mm-hmm.
co working in my town at that time was something like having an idea before the public is ready for it, or before
Okay.
the
Mm-hmm.
users or members are ready for it. And that was the span not only with the apartment and my 3, 4 iterations of co working, but
Mm-hmm.
let's say until 2020. So, like in the first 7 years, it was like even with Inspira Hub, the initial Inspira Hub, we didn't have
Yes.
the full capacity like immediately filled. We had filled the capacity in the last 2 years, and there was always a want for a space more or a seat more. And fortunately, after 7 years, so from 2017 to 2024, so this year, we renovated a completely new space and we didn't open up a second location. We moved to a bigger location. So we have double the space. And now currently we have about 50 seats. We have 9 meeting rooms. We have a big event space. And we have a lot of other modern features that our members can use and benefit from.
Yeah, so it changed a lot, obviously. As you said, you pivot, pivoted, iterated several times to get where you are today. And what is it? How does it look like? And what has changed from the beginning, where you try different things, to what you have today, which work?
Yeah. So right now, I think the biggest thing is the focus on
Hmm.
community. So
Yeah.
the Inspira Hub has like 2 main areas of work. Like the one is the co-working space, which offers 50 seats, which offers, like co-working memberships. We offer virtual offices. We're going to even open up a virtual co-working service soon. So just for people to be a part of the community, we're always trying to find new ways to like integrate the members in our work and help them in their own work. So like whether it's
Yeah.
networking activities, whether it's like with the new space and the new website, we opened up Talent Hub, which is like a small like a user base for our members that they can promote their services on
Yes.
as freelancers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the second big area of work for InspiraHub is the event space, not just for renting to external users, but for we organize free meetups, seminars, workshops for the wider community of our town. They're based for entrepreneurs, business, soft skills, IT, and from this September, we're expanding into science and culture and music and stuff like that.
Wow.
So we're really trying to kind of shake up the town to show to the people not only that there are like there is content in the town, that there is interesting content that you can learn, that you can like really grow and work on yourself, but also for all the entrepreneurs and all the young people that want to get into business, that there is no limit to what you can do. So, with years, the market changes and there is a time of like abundant work and employer searching for employees and stuff like that. And there are like slum years where you can't get a job, but you don't have to depend on the marketplace only in your town. You can work online, you can work remotely, you can offer your services online. You can be anything in today's world. With internet, you can learn anything and you can do anything. And that's why we're trying to promote this. So you don't have to move to a bigger city just to be successful or fill in your dreams. So you can actually be a part of the community. You can work online, work remotely, and you can also participate as a giving member of the community.
Yeah, it's really fantastic how you're thinking about your work community, which includes your member, but also people from outside of the space in your city who can access your space as well for event, for other things, and learn another way of doing things. As you said, there are always opportunities.
Yes, so we're really focused on that. And Inspira Group as a group is a community, is a big company that
Yes.
people often say, so why aren't you based in the capital city or one of the bigger cities? They decided to stay in Subotica because the founders came from this town and they want to give back to the local community. So they want to show that you don't have to be, you can be a big company, but you don't have to be in the capital with
Yes.
all of the workers. So you can be somewhere where, for example, there are very many advantages to living in a smaller town because of the work-life balance, of the time that you spend in commuting from work to home.
much.
There is difference in the nature, in the pollution, in the, how the city is organized. In Subotica, you can get everywhere within 15 minutes. My friend Bernie from the European Coworking
Yes.
Assembly, him. He always promotes, and everybody in Coworking promotes 15-minute cities. Like our whole town is a 15-minute city. So we're that size. So like we're not like Paris or London, which like you need to be in an area to be within 15 minutes of everything.
Yes. No, super interesting. And it's nice to see that you kind of partner with a company that wanted to give back. Because so you had your own space and then they came in, they invested in your space, in a new space. And it's important, I'm sure, to find a good partner who share a similar vision of what you want to do.
Yes, it is important. There are many different ways that different co-workings like fund themselves. In
Yes.
our country, so some are based on like project funding, like donor funding, like you have a NGO and you usually write projects for donors and stuff like that, and you fund your work with that. Some are a part of franchises and they're a part of real estate, like co-working, businesses. And we have the fortune to be a part of a bigger company, to be like an NGO within a company that the company is a founder of the NGO, and which is our main donor and sponsor. So we are not dependent on constantly project writing. On the other hand, so to be a business is like to be sustainable in co-working is
Mm-hmm.
so hard. Like, and I know that many small co-workings will agree with me. So because it is a wonderful business, it is a
Mm-hmm.
community-based business. But
Yeah.
if anybody is really wondering why everybody is not in this business, because it's rarely and very hardly completely sustainable by itself. It's usually a
Okay.
part of different business services that you need to offer, not just the membership model, depending on if you own the real estate, if you don't own the real estate that you're, like operating from, and what other services that can you offer.
And what kind of services do you offer?
So we currently offer a co-working membership model that three models. We have monthly, we have
Yes.
10 days, and we have daily passes. We offer virtual office services like for
Mm-hmm.
the rent of the business address. We are soon starting a virtual co-working service, which we
Yes.
still need to see how it's going to happen because everybody will be able to be a part of our co-working virtually. You will
Yes.
have access to the community through Slack and or
Mm-hmm.
some other platform. We'll see, and you'll also be able to be featured on Talent Hub, like a featured freelancer or service provider, and you'll also get some benefits in discounts on daily passes or meeting room rent or anything else that we might come up with. We also offer like meeting room rentals to external clients. We offer event space rentals and event
Yes.
organization services. And from time to time, we organized paid workshops like a business model canvas, like validation, like
Yes.
basically teaching people about business and how to be better at it. Or we organized many different courses through external partners, like programming courses, soft skills courses, sales courses, and stuff like that, that were usually done in the space. But these are not like constantly running. We're not a school that constantly has
Yeah.
courses, but from time to time.
Okay. Okay. That's a lot, and
That
I guess you're
it
not.
is.
Yeah. Are you? I guess you're not alone to manage all these different things, right?
We're two people,
Yeah.
two
Wow.
and a half, two and a
Two and a
half people.
half. Okay. Let's not forget the half. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Wow.
get some. I'm gonna get some blowback from the half. So we'll see if he is gonna listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. And what's next? You were talking about virtual
Yeah.
co-working,
So
maybe.
basically, yeah. What's next is we just moved into this bigger space. It
Okay.
happened in June 2025.
Wow.
We had
Yeah.
8 months of renovation in this. This is actually a 100-year-old building in the
Yes.
very center of
I
town.
saw.
Yeah. And so we're still getting our feet like on the ground with the
Mm-hmm.
double the space, double the memberships,
Wow.
double the event space and stuff like that. So we're actually going to like get accustomed to it in the next
Yeah.
year and a half. We're going to start some new services, some virtual co-working services, maybe some support or seminar services. But for now, this is the next step. What's
Yes.
next after that? Ask me in a year's time. We'll see.
Well, yeah. And I'm thinking, do you have some kind of roadmap for longer term? Something like a dream or something like that you want to achieve? Or are you taking it one step at a time and saying, okay, here we're established, so what's the next thing we want to do? And then you work on it for the next few years, and then you say, okay, now it's done. What's the next thing we want to do?
Yeah, so there is a long-term vision and there
Okay.
is like short-term achievable goals in the sense we're all about like setting goals.
Mm-hmm.
And in the short term, so it's all about being adaptive to the circumstances.
Yeah.
So, like most of your listeners may know, Serbia is not quite the most stable country in the world. So, but we're holding our ground. So, as soon as we get out of the present situation that we're in,
Yeah.
and we'll see what the trends and the needs of our members and of the community say, and that's where we'll go. In the sense that if we're not gonna, we're a local company, we're a local hub, and we currently don't have any wishes or plans to like to other towns. We'll see if we need to expand
Mm-hmm.
to another location within the same town, depending on the needs of the members and the needs of the market in that sense. As far as the like long-term vision, we want to be like the hub of business ideas, innovation, and crossroads of knowledge. Sorry, knowledge, ideas, and business crossroads of this town. So
Yeah.
our hub wants to be like the main crossroads of that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and I guess that's also from the beginning. From the very beginning, you say you wanted to create a space that's mostly about community, about bringing people together for, as you say, knowledge, ideas, and all that.
Yeah. So if you asked me like 13 years ago if I thought that it would come to this, I wouldn't dream of it. All through
No.
it, it was
Mm,
like ups and downs. And
mm,
currently, it's not $1 million business, but somebody sees the value in this
yes.
as well as we do. People ask me,
Mhm.
I'm not the owner, I'm just the manager. So mine were the first co-working spaces. Then I agreed to work in this co-working space. But if anybody asks, this is mine. So I treat it as mine and worked on the community as it is my community. And that's why I'm hoping that this is why that we're doing so good, or that's why I'm good at my job. So because I treat it as my own.
Yeah. And it is yours because I believe that the first stakeholders are the employees. It's their company. Okay, they might not own it, but they're there. They make it what it is.
Yeah.
So, and even more with the co-working, where if you're at the front desk, if you're with the members, then you're really giving the vibes and setting the pace, the way the co-working is working.
Yeah. Yeah. So what to basically always be positive and open to the community, not just in within the town. I'm very like open to and always trying to communicate with other co-working spaces in our country and even beyond. So we talked with the European Co-working Assembly, we're talking with London co-working spaces. I
Mm,
visited, different conferences, world conferences at
yeah.
any times. And I believe that, co-working, we may be like, rival companies, like in that working spaces, but
Competitors.
we are not. So we are here to learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Only by exchanging experiences, you can grow and you can learn from others. So
So true,
I
true.
really,
As another guest said, I take a collaboration over competition every day of the week. So
exactly.
slowly but surely, we're coming to an end. And before we do that, I wanted to ask if there was one last thing you wanted to talk about.
I think we covered everything. So, like the main thing that I always want to
Yeah.
cover is like the focus on the community. I
Yes.
really believe that this is the strength, and not only the strength, but the lifeline of the co-working. Because if you just open, I saw many different people go into co-working because it's a buzzword. And they
Oh.
think if you have room and you fill it with 10 desks, people will come. No, people will come because of you, because of the vibe, because of the people that are there, because of the talks that you have, and all the different co-workings in all the different world all around the world offer something unique and something that you need to experience. So, if you're based in one co-working space, feel free to go to another just to experience, and you'll always either come back or find your own best like feel and space.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I remember a co-working owner talking about the other co-working at the end of the street. So really a few blocks away. And of course it might have been a bigger city, but it was incredible how the vibe, how they were different, They were totally for different people. As she was saying, they only do monthly. subscriptions. They have different rooms. So you really have your own room with other people, but it's not one big space. And her, it was one big space. It was daily subscription, monthly subscription, or that, and so many different things that were different. And some people, she said, I recommend them to go at the end of the street because it fits them better. So every space is different, even if they're in the same street.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for this conversation and for sharing all your experience with coworking in your hometown.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
And if people want to know more about you, about what you're doing, or about InspiraHub, where can they contact you?
So if you want to learn more about InspiraHub, you can visit our website or any
Yes.
social network with inspirahub.rs, like
Yes.
RS, and or, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And if you want to connect with me personally, the best way to find me is on LinkedIn.
Okay. So I will add the website and LinkedIn so people can find it
Yeah.
easily. And that's it. Thank you so much. And we'll talk again on LinkedIn. I know it.
Okay. Thank you so much and bye to everybody.
Bye bye.